break down several things: social, political, prison-related. Today, the first thing I want to get into. Did you hear about this thing? We got Donald Trump, whom I'm going to be honest. I'm not a Donald Trump fan. I'm pretty vocal about it, but I got to say, his pardon of Lil Wayne and Kodak Black was pretty cool.
My mother loves him. I've never been a big fan of him. I appreciate his business he's done. He's done, he's grown a business. I don't really never looked at his money and whatnot, but I like Lil Wayne. I listen to his music. I'm glad he got the guys out and got him out. But in Big Sight, I don't believe that it was per se a good thing, a good move to do this, because I believe this gives a false narrative that he's actually helping people who are in prison.
Right. And look, there's this falsehood that I believe is a falsehood where people are like, well, Obama imprisoned a bunch of black people. Look, Trump's freeing them. Look, man, you just can't look at these pardons. You got to look at things overall. You got to look at the climate politically. But let's look at it real quick. So,
well, and not only that, but I like looking at the actual facts, the laws. Which laws have they passed to overcome the racial prejudice bias that the government put in place to make minorities suffer?
Right.
Or which ones did they take away that are making the minorities suffer? Obama is, and please, someone implore me, and I'm not for any government. Face knows me. I'm not for any. I used to get on my homies in prison, all my homies at Hazelton Penitentiary for Obama. I used to tell them, man, look at the books. A lot of Democrats, they voted for a lot of Jim Crow laws and all that shit back in the day.
Right.
I'm not with none of them. But he did pass a law to help the suffering in the system, and that was the crack law. Before Obama, literally, people don't even know that they had cocaine powder. 1 gram of crack was equal to 100 grams of powder. I mean,
now, right, and let's elaborate. How does that break racial lines? Here's how.
Well, me and you already know.
We know, but some people out there don't. Let's explain. Cocaine, the powder, was inherently a white people's drug, okay? For the most part. The people you've seen using cocaine, the powder, were college students, business people, stockbrokers, lawyers. It was a party drug.
Socially accepted among elites. And we've seen many videos that come to light afterwards that these people glorify, yet we got people in prison for it.
Yep. Now, mind you, the point Corey was making is, so here you have cocaine, then you've got crack. Crack in the inner city was more of an inner city black Hispanic thing. People would take that coke, they would try to rock it up and make a profit off of it.
Well,
so
people bought it more faster too, and that's
they did. It sold quickly.
Yes.
People needed more of it, and they made more money off of it. But the point is, the government made crack. What did you say? It was 10 times, 100 times?
100 to 1.
100 to 1.
100 to 1. You would get caught with literally 50 grams of crack. I know I got indicted by the feds. You would get caught with 50 grams of crack. It would be like getting caught with 5 keys.
That's just outrageous.
I mean,
that's outrageous.
Give me the 5 keys of powder if I'm selling drugs. I mean, I'm just trying to tell you.
Who does that kill? That kills people in the inner city. It destroys families. And aside from that, they knew when they passed that law that a big majority of minorities were selling crack. But let's get to the video.
Lil Wayne and Kodak Black. Lil Wayne, a notable Trump supporter, was charged in Florida on November 17th with possession of firearm by a convicted felon, and was facing up to 10 years in federal prison, according to NBC News. But the outgoing president, quote, granted a full pardon to Dwayne Michael Carter Jr., also known as Lil Wayne.
Propaganda is what I like to call that.
Read, quote, Mr. Carter has exhibited this generosity through commitment to a variety of charities, including donations to research hospitals and a host of food banks.
Now let's speak on this real quick.
Please, I wish they'd have let me donate some money. I offered to give them 10 years in the Army.
Well, look, I mean, I agree with the pardon overall. Here's the thing. Lil Wayne is not out there busting caps on people.
And he needs to carry a gun.
He's a multimillionaire. He's a target, okay? And what he said is true. I mean, Lil Wayne is out here donating to charities.
Of course.
He's giving back to his community. I mean, Jesus, are we really going to put this guy in prison? Now, Kodak's situation, let's get to that, because I disagree with it a little bit.
Kodak Black was also
But now, let's not get it twisted. I'm glad they got out. Listen, I don't want to see nobody, especially no victims. These people didn't rob somebody, kill somebody.
That's right.
Rape little kids and things like that.
Yeah, they didn't.
I mean, you don't deserve to be putting a human being. We're the most highly intelligent things on this earth, and you want to take and put it in a cage and ain't done nothing to nobody.
That's torture. I mean, so here's the
television rapper was sentenced to nearly 4 years in prison after pleading guilty on federal weapon charges.
Weapon charges. Feds.
NBC News. But the White House noted that the entertainer's, quote, numerous philanthropic efforts, such as providing educational resources to students and families of fallen law enforcement officers and the underprivileged.
So now, I want to speak on Kodak. I don't want to sound like a hater because, like Corey said, I'm grateful that they are not in prison.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, I never. If you're not a molester, I don't want to see you in prison, you know. But Kodak, for the record, is a knucklehead. He was violated on his probation multiple times. You've been on parole,
right? Okay.
Look,
I was blessed. I shout out to my probation officer. I was on Fed probation for 5 years. Shout out to him. He was a Marine.
Now,
good guy.
Did you ever have a violation?
Oh, I pissed dirty. I had eventually got a script for marijuana, but I pissed dirty numerous times for marijuana. The only difference was I made over $10,000 a month through my business, legit, owned a house, married. So it wasn't like I was a pothead sitting on the couch.
Right. No, you were a productive member of society.
He had a sound mind. He sent me to a psychiatrist. Psychiatrist said, "Hey, this guy's good, man," and he kept with it. So
now let me say this: I had an old probation. I was on state probation for a total of 11 years, spread out over time.
It's a trick. Most people, that's the thing about it too, not to cut you off, but they want people to come back in society, but then you take their license, you hinder them, you put them on probation, you make them tell everybody, I'm on probation, I'm a felon.
You cripple them. You cripple them.
But hey, be a good citizen.
Let me say this.
You said you were on probation.
I was on probation for almost 11 years. I brought back several violatable offenses, but much like Corey said, I was working, I was being a productive member of society, and I never brought back the same violation twice. Now in Kodak's,
well, you weren't victimizing people.
I wasn't victimizing people.
You would have robbed somebody, we probably got violated.
But in Kodak's case, he's young. I think he was feeling himself a little bit.
Of course.
But I'm grateful this young man has been.
And he probably grew up in the system that his parents. His parents have probably had gone through the system. I mean, listen, these are the unforeseen consequences that have been unraveled through these drug laws that have been passed. These kids come from broken homes, and you expect them to do something. It's not their fault. These people have literally broken their homes up.
Well, you know, and the thing is, it's a cycle because you see daddy go in and out of prison for drug charges. He shows you that's how he's making a living. You don't have much available to you. You can go work at some factory, maybe McDonald's, right, or you can do what the dope man's doing and sell money and look good.
Well, and at some level, too, a lot of these kids look up, and even me, I mean, you almost look up to it as like a manhood threshold that, you know, you're really not a man until you go to prison. Like, you know,
unfortunately,
it's weird. It's weird.
You know, and
it's
now,
like you get some type of credit. Like, I've been to prison. You know.
Nowadays, and you know, you're right. Yeah. Nowadays, I kind of hide that I went to prison, but back in the day, I told more people. Now, listen. Speaking of prison, I want to get to this next subject. We want to talk about a prison down in Mississippi.